So let's start today our session.
I would like to welcome everyone that joined the session, and I'll be now sharing the screen with you for the presentation. Can you, I just would like to check if you can see the screen now.
Yes, it's clear.
Yes, is it clear for everyone?
Yes, it's good.
Okay. So our session today is about how to create a lesson plan. This is me speaking, Nirmeen Fathi, and my colleague is Mrs. Manal Selim.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. And we are going to introduce this session for you. First, you are going to need a sheet of paper divided in 3 parts, just like you see in the picture. So we are going to write on this sheet of paper, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Of course, it's better to take notes. It's better than taking pictures of the screen, because what you write is what you are going to remember. Then we are going to start our session, and we are going to divide it into 2 parts, from 8 till 8:40, and then we are going to have 5 minutes break, and then we are going to get back again from 8:45 till 9:25. And of course, you are going to log from the same link you logged in the first session. So it's the same link for the second session as well. Before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself. Just briefly, type in the chat box your name and the country and where you're from.
All right, so they are going to be doing that orally, unmuting themselves, or in the chat? In the chat box?
Chat, yes, in the
right?
chat box.
Yes.
Just type in your name and...
Okay, everybody, now we have got here a very good number of attendees, so please share with us in the chat box something about yourself. We see that...
Dalia, welcome, Dalia. How we have Nardat from Pakistan, welcome. Hello from Alex.
Hello,
Hi.
hello everyone. Marwa.
Hello.
Marwa from Kenya. Yes, we have many governorates here.
Yes, a lot of people are interested in the lesson today, because it seems like...
in many countries.
Yes, many countries.
We have from Alex. We have.
So, welcome everybody. Welcome here to this session.
We're happy to be with you today. We wish you will enjoy the session with us.
As a starter or an icebreaker or a warmer, I would like you to look at this slide. If the lesson plan is a journey and you are granted 3 wishes from a lesson plan, what would these 3 wishes be? Would like to share with us? What would these 3 wishes be?
So the Jenny is going to give us 3 wishes?
Yeah.
3 wishes, yeah.
The Jenny is the lesson plan. So he's going to grant us 3 wishes. What would the 3 wishes be?
What wishes
can everybody.
You ask the lesson plan?
Yeah, okay. So I think like a lot of teachers
you can share on the chat box, or if you
hi everybody,
would like to hear from you.
Hello.
Yeah, would like. Hi.
Hi. Introduce yourself, please. Who is speaking? Who was speaking?
Like to share, please? Could you please raise your hand so we can listen to you? Or if you want to share on the chat box, it's okay.
Okay, but I actually asked about which she said about after seconds. She talked about 3 wishes. What do you mean by that?
3 wishes from the lesson plan.
Something you would like the lesson plan to achieve. Something that you want from the lesson plan. Maybe I may be asking about, I want my
Okay, got
students.
it, thanks.
Okay. If the time is managed right, according to the plan. Okay, this is so nice. So it's about time management. Thank you. Thank you, Nardat.
It's the same wish for us all.
Pronouncing your name correctly, Nardat? Yeah. So it's about time management. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Anyone who would like to share? What are your wishes from the lesson plan?
I think a lot of teachers should be waiting for this moment because it's like
highly
a pain in the
motivated
neck.
students achieve the aims and well managed. Right. Wow.
Thank you, Dalia. Yeah. I am motivated. This is difficult to achieve.
It's not a wish. It should be a miracle.
We're waiting. Sure. Thank you, Dalia, for sharing. Any other wishes?
Ms. Dalia is one of the most active members in all our workshops. Like, really glad to hear from her.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Any other wishes? Okay.
All right.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you for sharing, everyone. So mostly it's about we manage our time, students get motivated, and the aims, all of our aims get achieved. And these are the same wishes for every teacher, I think. So what I want you to think about now is, why do we have to have a lesson plan? Why? What is the reason for a lesson plan? Think about it and share it with me in the chat box. Why is the lesson plan important? And I'm going to copy what you are writing in here.
Anyone would like to share with us? We would like to listen and to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a pretty good chance, everybody. You can unmute yourself to speak. Wow, pretty nice interactive workshop. Yes. Everybody can share.
Rehab, would you like to speak?
To organize our ideas. Thank you. We need the lesson plan to organize ideas. Thank you, Ms. Azza.
Yeah. Hello, Ms. Azza. Thank you for sharing.
Yes. We need to organize our ideas before starting our lessons in order to be ready for our students.
So the first idea here is to I'm going to copy this. Yes, is to organize.
Manage our time perfectly. Thank you, Ms. Salwa. So it's about time management. Okay. A teacher should always be ready for any anticipated challenges in the classroom, and lesson plan helps with that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, our colleague from Pakistan. It's very important to plan our lesson for the aims, to manage time, to connect ideas. Thank you, Ms. Dalia. It's a reference for the other teacher when I'm absent one day. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Sarah. If you have a substitute teacher, so you need, they need reference to reflect or to do your work. This is very nice. Thank you. to save time and effort. Very good. Thank you, Ms. Dalia. And here I would like to say a quote. People who fail, those who fail to plan are planning to fail. So if you are not ready with our plans, so we are anticipating or planning for our failure. This focuses on the importance of planning. Your name, Belton, you're from Mozambique. Very nice. Welcome, Belton. We have a colleague from Mozambique. Welcome from countries all over the world to identify our aims and how we teach them.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's Belton from Mozambique. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So I've copied most of your answers here.
To identify the aims and how we teach them. Very good. We have to identify. Thank you, Ms. Marwa. And we should know how to teach them. We should be prepared. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so let's go through what you have written in the chat box. So why lesson plan? It's a reference. I like this word very much. I always think of my lesson plan as my notes, the teacher notes, not a lesson plan, the teacher notes. It's a reference for me to either for another teacher when I'm absent, or either for me when I forget something. It's important to plan. Planning is very important for anything you are doing, to determine our aims. This is a very good point, because the aims, the objectives are the main important element of the lesson plan. The most important element is the objective. To manage time, of course, to connect ideas, to be ready, to manage time, to organize the idea. So all of you people, you did great job here, and you mentioned lots of good reasons for having a lesson plan. To sum up all of these ideas, we can make them shorter by saying to be confident. First point, to be confident of your knowledge of what you are going to do, to be able to evaluate your work. So if you don't have a lesson plan, you don't know what you are doing, so you can't evaluate your work in class. And the third point is to organize, and it's a guide, of course, for substitute teachers. So I would like you to look at these two lesson plans here. We have two lesson templates, two lesson plan templates. I would like to look at them closely and think of the elements or the components of each one. I'll give you just a couple of minutes.
Time?
Yes, just a couple of minutes, 2 minutes, to look at these two templates and think of the component of a lesson plan. What are the components of a lesson plan? Marwa, is it done that you looked at the lesson plans or the form?
I think she meant the form.
Form, okay, okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Take a close look at the form of both templates.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Marwa. She's talking about the form. Okay.
Yes, okay.
Marwa, please have a look at the lesson plan template.
Yes. Can you see the components of each one? Is it clear?
I think it's clear. Thank you, Nermeen.
Yes, we have, if we looked at the top of each lesson template, we have the grade, subject, date, topic. So what are these? What are these at the top of the lesson plan?
May you repeat the question, please? Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have some answers here. Okay.
yes. The question was just looking at the top of each lesson plan template and tell me what is the first part in each lesson plan.
Ms. Sarah is sharing that these items are the objectives, new vocabulary, and the new structures. Thank you, Ms. Marwa.
Yes, thank you, Maro, for sharing this.
Any other ideas?
Mm.
So the objectives, the vocabulary. How can I warm up?
Yes, we are going.
Yes, we are going to deal with this in a while.
Yes. So the first part, as we can see, is just main details about which class you are going to teach, what grade is it, what is the subject, unit, lesson, the name of the lesson, level of students, and all these details. So the first part is mainly the refer to the information given about yourself and what you are going to do and which class you are going to teach and what level you are going to teach. The same here.
Frame.
Dalia, the frame, is it the timeline?
You mean the template?
The frame.
What is
the main ideas, you mean? Yes, one of them has more details for the supervisor. Which one, Azza?
For the supervisor. Azza, you mean?
Yes, the stage
is asking, yes. What are the stages we are going to?
First on the left, okay. So the first one on the left, she says that it has lots of details about, for the supervisors. Okay, another template here, which goes like horizontal, it's teaching procedures, and on the other side, teaching aids and resources. So we have many templates. So from these lesson plan templates, what are the components of a lesson plan?
Please, everybody, could you mute yourself? If you have some noise around, could you please mute yourself? Mr. I don't know how to say the name. Mr. Mapolulu, I think, or something. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Okay, so I want you also to think about, from the lesson plan templates we have seen, what are the components of a lesson plan?
Ms. Salwa is sharing the title, lesson, or grade, the period, review, or then the warm up, the new vocabulary, structure, functions, drilling and tasks, home assignment, self-evaluation. Thank you, Ms. Salwa, for sharing. You summed up most of them. The last one is the official. Yes, Ms. Azza, the last one is the official
in Alexandria.
Yeah, I think all over Egypt. Ms. Sarah, recycling warm-up presentation. Okay, but recycling, I think, should be on a later stage. Thank you, Ms. Sarah. Tasks. Okay, Ms. Salwa, skills gained. Okay, and the production stage. Very nice. Yeah. So we have some keys. Yeah. And the guide activity.
Yes, I copied most of them, yes.
Less guided. Okay. Thank you.
Too many.
And unguided. You summed up most of them. Guide and independent practice. Thank you, Ms. Rania. Dalia, saying the objectives, warming up strategies, material, new vocabulary, structure, and home assignment and self-evaluation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all for sharing all this information. They are almost the main components of a lesson plan. If we looked at this
Have you got it?
video, yes. If we looked at this video, I'm not going to play it, but I'll share the link in the reference section. It sums up most of the lesson plan components, which are the details for the lesson first, like the title, dates, the most important part, which is objective, the standards, following the country standards or the curriculum, the general curriculum, plan, assessment, homework. All these are components of a lesson plan. So how can we sum up all of these components in a simpler way? We have first to understand what is a lesson plan. So here we have the definition of a lesson plan, The definition of a lesson plan. What is a lesson plan? Look closely at this definition. It sums up most of the components. It's a sequential guide of differentiated activities on how to accomplish your objectives with the aid of certain resources and material within a time limit. So the red colored words are mainly the elements of the lesson plan. Sequential guide, it's a sequence. It should be a sequence. It's not isolated elements. They should be connected together in a sequence, in a certain sequence of activities. And these activities should be differentiated according to student, according to their level.
Yeah, because students are different, yes. Because they are different, so the activities should be differentiated.
That's right. On how to accomplish your objective. So what is the objective of this lesson? This is the most important part, as I said. And this is done with the aid or the help of certain resources and material within a time limit. So time limit is another point which we should take care of while we are preparing our lessons. So if we divide our lesson plan into parts, do you remember the paper that I asked you to divide into 3 parts? Did you do this task? Do you all have a sheet of paper divided in 3 stages? Yes or no?
Okay, everybody, you can give us like maybe some non-verbal reaction here with a thumb up or something, so we know that you're ready with a pen and paper. Everybody.
Pen and paper.
No, okay, Miss Marwa, you can.
No.
You can do that.
Grab one, okay? Doesn't take time.
Thank you. So at the beginning of our session, I asked you to prepare a paper like this and divide it into 3 stages. This is going to be the work of your work during the whole session. So you should have a paper divided like this into 3 parts, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. What we are going to do now, we are going to look through the stages of the lesson plan. What are the stages of the lesson plan? Look at this slide. The stages of the lesson plan, the lesson plan is divided into 3 stages. Before the class, which is our preparation, during the class, what will happen inside the class, what we are doing inside the class, and after the class, which includes assessment, reflection, feedback, and all this stuff that happen after the class. So we should divide our paper into 3 stages, and we are going to talk now about the first stage, which is before the class. Look at before the class, we have identify the objectives. What are the objectives for our lesson? And then according to these objectives, we are going to design activities, assessment, and the sequence of the lesson. So this is what we are going to discuss now. This is the first part in a lesson. So this is your paper, and now you have written stage 1, the date, the grade, the unit, and the time for the session. And then you are going to decide what are your objectives, your goals, or your outcomes. Sometimes lesson templates contain words like this: objective, goals, and the outcomes. But we don't understand. She can't hear me. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
we're good.
Something
Maybe
with your mic. Maybe something.
Yes,
Yes. Something.
yes,
with
I
your-
can hear you.
Mhm. Okay, so the first stage, we don't, some people use objective, goals, and outcomes interchangeably, but they are different. So Mrs. Manal now is going to tell us the difference between objectives, goals, and outcomes.
May I ask you a question? So what is the difference
You are breaking up.
between goals and objectives? We see difference between objectives and goals. In other words, which is more general, the objectives or the goals? Anyone would like to share? Yeah. Goals are, Mr. Wayman, goals are more general? Objectives, we try to reach them. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Azza. Thank you, Ms. Salwa. So the goals are more general. They are goals, but on the long run. So if we have goals, it can be achieved during or throughout the whole year. Then we divide our goals into objectives. So the goals would be by the end of the year, we will achieve so and so. But the objectives are divided, or we by the end of the lesson, by the end of the week. So it's more specific. So goals are general, but objectives are specific, and it takes short time. And the outcomes, what do you think about the outcomes? I think we have some people sharing here. We still have time. Objectives are more focused on the lesson. Thank you, Ms. Marwa. So the objectives focus on the lesson, but the goals, it's also on the lesson, but I think it's all about the curriculum from the beginning of the year. Okay, what about the outcomes? The outcomes, so by the end of the year or by the end of the lesson, students will be able to do so and so. So the goals would be the big picture, and the objectives, what I'm going to do, and the outcomes, what the learners, what the steps by which this object should be done, and the outcomes would be what the learners will be able to do afterwards, and the evidence of their learning. We have something here. So so when forming the objectives should be smart. What do you think of the word smart? So the acronym of S is for specific. So our objectives should be specific, should be modified, should be clear from the beginning, and it should be measurable. So we can't say that our objective is that the students know, or the students do something that I cannot measure. So the objective should be measurable, something I can measure. For example, they can identify, they can classify, they can describe. And the third one, or the third element of the objective, that it should be attainable, something that can be reached or can be done. And the R is for relevant. It has something to do with the objective, with the lesson and the lesson plan. And the objective should be timed. So in our objectives, we say by the end of the lesson, by the end of the week, by the end of the unit. So we should have time. It should be time-based. Any question here?
So how can we create an objective?
We should, before we form the objective, we should go through the ABCD model. Are you familiar with the ABCD model? Anyone? Have you heard about ABCD model?
Just say yes.
You can be
or
sharing
no.
in the chat, everybody. Yes.
Yes or no?
You can share in the chat, or maybe give us a thumb up or anything if you heard about the ABC model to create your objectives.
Yes or no? Okay, I think most of us know the ABCD model. We are working on our objectives through this model, but we may not be knowing that this is the model. Okay, when forming the objective, we should have 4 elements, which is the beginning with A, B, C, D. So can anyone tell me any objectives that you have in your lessons? What is the form of the objective? Can anyone tell us one objective that you are working through in your lessons? How do we start our objective? Anyone would like to share? Okay. We start our objective by saying by the end of the lesson, students will be able to, the age of the group, Miss Rania, okay, seeing the age of the group, okay. So when forming the objective, we say by the end of the lesson, students will be able to do so and so, able to identify so and so. Thank you, Miss Rania. And we should mention the time, and we should mention the condition. For example, students will be able to write 5 sentences. For example, if it's a writing objective, write 5 sentences correctly. Okay, we have some objectives here I'd like to share with you. So Miss Dalia, by the end of the lesson, students will be able to, thank you. We have 2 elements here. Miss Salwa, by the end of the lesson, students will be able to use the present perfect tense accurately. Thank you. We'll be able to read a short text. Very nice. Okay, most of us say that by the end of the lesson, so we have beginning of the objectives. Students are student is the object, the audience we have, will be able to. We have the verb identify, classify, describe, say, or compose. This is the behavior that we should include in our objective. And as we said in Ms. Demin, we still have the last slide, please. So the condition would be they should identify, transport vocabulary in a reading text. So this is the condition. And the degree is how they do that correctly or accurately by using an adverb. Okay, thank you. So the next one. Thank you, Ms. Nermeen. Next slide. So this is part of the Bloom's taxonomy. Any of you is familiar with Bloom's taxonomy? Have you heard about that? Bloom's taxonomy. What is Bloom's taxonomy? And I think, yes, Ms. Salva, would you like to share with us what about Bloom's taxonomy? Okay, Bloom's taxonomy.
Hello, can I talk?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, Bloom's taxonomy, it's the levels of doing, mental processes like understanding, memorizing, analyzing. Of course, the top or the main idea or the objective that we all that all teachers wish to reach is creativity, which is the highest level of thinking for students.
So how many levels do we have for Bloom's taxonomy? We have
six or eight, I'm not sure.
yeah, there are
Yes.
six. The lower levels and the higher levels, beginning with the
Knowledge.
knowledge.
Knowledge and sometimes it is remember. So they refer it as remember or knowledge. This is the lowest level of thinking in Bloom taxonomy.
Yeah, so we can use the verbs define, identify, describe, recognize, something that just remember, tell, explain, recite, memorize. Okay, then we have the second level, which is understand. The students can summarize, classify, compare, and we have many verbs that we can use to apply in this level. Then we have the apply standard or level, which students can be will be able to solve a problem or change something, relate, find the relation between two things. And then we have the fourth one, which is the analyzing. The student will be able to contrast, connect, relate. And the fifth standard would be the evaluation stage. Students will be able to criticize, reframe, judge, value. And the last one would be the creation part. You know, when we are dealing in our lessons, the most difficult part for our students would be how to write a paragraph or an essay, because this is the creation part. They have to think, they have to get all the skills they have to think, brainstorm, write, and recall all their skills to get the creation stage. We have verbs like design, modify, role-playing, develop, rewrite, and many other verbs. So now we have 2 minutes till the break. Okay, I would like you to look at this lesson from the Connect series. This is a lesson. I would like you to think about objectives for this lesson. So we will have 5 minutes break. Then you can think
I think
about objectives.
we can go on because the Zoom didn't stop.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So may I interrupt for a second, please?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you. I would like to remind attendees, please, to fill in the Google form. I'm sending you in the chat box to keep in touch with you, because this session is sponsored by the RELU program, the Regional English Language Office, sponsored by the U.S. Embassy in Cairo. So please fill in the form to give us your contacts, your phone number and email, so we can be in touch with you for the future workshops. Please don't forget that. And thank you, Ms. Manela and Ms. Nermeen.
Thank you, Ms.
So we would like you to think of objectives and design them according to ABCD model and write them in the chat box. At least one objective. Just to try to write an objective for this lesson.
Yeah, you should include at least 2 elements. It's supposed to be the 4, the audience, the behavior, the condition, and the degree.
Yes, the ABCD model.
Okay, I will share one in the chat box. So by the end of the lesson. And,
okay, we'll give you 2 minutes. just to fill the form and at the same time to think of the objective.
An example of an objective: by the end of the lesson, you will be able to write 5 sentences correctly. Mr. Abdulhamid, sorry, Ms. Marwa, students will be able to teach festivals in different countries. Be able to draw a simple picture about Egypt. Very nice. What about the degree? Maybe we can use correctly, accurately. Thank you for sharing, Ms. Marwa and Ms. Azza. Be able to explain what is the Eid al-Fitr. Thank you, Ms. Rania, and the degree. To write sentences correctly about Egyptian. Yeah, correctly. Okay, thank you.
You have great guys, you have great ideas. You really have great ideas. Yes, but yes, we should notice that Manel, that we can focus on the first and second element as well.
Clearly, thank you, and simple. Tamam. Thank you, Ms. Azza and Ms. Rania.
Okay, thank you for sharing all of these wonderful ideas about this lesson. And a student will be able to get ideas about Eid al-Fitr and Ramadan month. So get ideas. Notice that when we use the verbs, we use verbs that can be measured.
Yeah. Talk about life in Egypt during Eid al-Fitr. Use new vocabulary and text accurately. Thank you, Ms. Salwa.
Verbs that, yes, verbs that can be measured, like the ones in this table, that are related in a way to Bloom taxonomy, and they are graded according to the levels of thinking.
Yeah.
Yes. So we should always refer to this table for choosing our verbs. The verb you choose should be one of these verbs in the table so that it can be measured.
Yeah, create, congratulations.
Create, wonderful. Create is a higher order thinking. Yes.
Students will be able to display their knowledge
Display,
about
wonderful. Yes. Which level of thinking is that? This display. It can be compare habits. So very good. Compare is a very good. It's related to the second level. How they can display it. It's like describe or tell. They are yes, they are in the same level of tell or describe. So you have to refer to this table of verbs to form a measurable verb, to form a measurable objective. The objective has to be measurable. We can measure it. We can judge it. So thank you for sharing all of these wonderful ideas. We are going to go through the next slide now, which is the sequence of the lesson. The sequence of the lesson. The first step in the lesson is to gain the student attention, which is the most important part, because theorists say that the most effective part of the lesson is the first 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes. So the first 3 minutes in the lesson, with which you gain the attention of the students, with which you do the warm-up, is the thing that they are going to remember for the rest of the time. So gaining the attention.
We have a question.
Yes, sure.
We have a question at the beginning of the session, someone asking, how can we do the warm-up? Remember, Mr. Min?
Yes. I don't know. I'm not sure. Is she still here? Is she still here?
I think it's Marwa's, I think, maybe.
Marwa? Was it Marwa?
Right there. Ask him about the warm-up activity.
This is the warm-up activity. The warm-up activity is very short time. It takes very short time, 3 to 5 minutes max. But it is very important for the students because it gains their attention. Marwa, yes. So the warm-up activity can be something like the one I did with you at the beginning of this session. Do you remember the Jenny? Something like the Jenny who asked to give you 3 wishes, and you have to think about 3 wishes the lesson plan could achieve. The warm-up could be a picture, a strange picture, a unique picture that you are going to show your students so that you are going to gain their attention. It could be a song. It could be a question, a challenging question. So the warm-up is a very short activity, but it gains the attention and trigger their minds. So the next step after the warm-up is to inform learner of objectives. The students should be able to understand what they are going to do. They should understand what is the lesson about. If they understand what you are doing, they can help you achieve your objective. The third step is the prior knowledge or the prior learning. When you are going to fish, when you are going fishing, what do you take with you? What do you take with you to fish? Well done, Salo. Thank you for sharing this about a hook. Very well. Very good, Rania. Thank you for sharing fishing hooks. So the hook, which is in the picture here, is going to hang up to something. This is what you are doing when you are looking for prior knowledge. You are hooking the new information to the prior knowledge that the student have. You are looking for somewhere to hang up your hook. When you hang up your hook somewhere in the student knowledge back in their mind, they will never forget what you told them because you relate it to your prior knowledge. That's why we call it a hook. This step is very important. And I would like you to look at this lesson and tell me, where is the hawk in this lesson? Yes, Salwa, thank you. A net or a rod, a hook, worm, a fishing line. Where is the hawk in this lesson? Sweets, sweets. Yes, very good, Marwa. It's, where is the hawk? Where is the prayer knowledge that you are going to relate to, Miss Isra? What are you going to relate to? Their prayer knowledge.
We have habits on Eid and the kahk, of
Yes.
course.
The first, if you look at the first question, think and say, what festival do you celebrate? So what is he asking the student about here? He's asking about their habit, what they celebrate, what do they celebrate? Yes. So he is starting with asking the students about something they already know. When you start with something the student already know, you can easily relate it to the new knowledge. Did you get it, Isra? Isra, did you get that?
How do they celebrate? How do they celebrate, right?
Yes, it's the same question. Okay. So, I hope you understand. Yes, it's clear now. Okay, thank you. So this is what we call the hawk, is relating to the prayer knowledge. So after that, we are going to present content. So after the prayer knowledge, we present the new knowledge. And then we provide guidance. We show them how to do this. If we are explaining a lesson, we are going to present it in a way that they can understand. Then we let the student practice. So the steps are going clockwise. The steps are going clockwise. After practicing, you are going to give them feedback on their practice, and then you are going to assess their performance, and then you are going to enhance retention. All these are the steps, the 9 events of instruction, or the sequence of the lesson that you are teaching. Now, when you enter the class, you have something we call a lesson map. This is our lesson map. So where we start from? Where we start from? Huh?
The warm-up activity.
Yes.
The warm-up.
Yeah.
No, it's the whole 9 steps are not in 3 minutes. It's the whole class. The whole class is not. The warm-up only is 5 minutes. Okay. So we start with the warm-up.
Can be up to 10 minutes. It's okay. If it needs time.
So we have to start with the warm-up, as I said, and then we go on to present the lesson, and then practice, give time to practice, and then the student apply what they practice, and then extend more practice, and then the wrap-up, which is the end of the lesson. This is the lesson map by which we are going to guide the students through the class, through the lesson. Now I'm going to give you the steps of the lesson structures, which is the triple B. We call it the triple B, PPP, presentation, practice, production. So I wrote it like this, so it would be easy to remember. So these are the steps of our lesson. The second stage. This is the second stage. Do you still have your paper? Do you still have your paper? Huh? You still have your paper or not? Yes.
We've got a lot of paper in here. So what about the others? Everybody are ready with a pen and paper? You remember?
Okay. So the stage one, we are done with the stage one. We wrote the details of the lesson. We wrote the objectives. And then we are going to go to stage two, which is the presentation, presentation, practice, production. So this is the triple B lesson structure. The first step is the warm-up. As I said, it's the warm-up. This is how we do the warm-up. We build your student interest and get them ready to learn. There is no teaching at this stage. You are not teaching them anything. Keep it short and fun. The warm-up is short and fun, 3 to 5 minutes max. 3 to 5 minutes max. It can be a picture, a challenging question, a story, a joke. It can be a joke, unusual props. You can bring unusual.
It can be a song.
Yeah, it can be a song.
Song. Yeah.
Okay, all of them are ready with the paper. Okay. So this is the first step in the second stage, which is warm up, and we can get a toy. I can get my toy to class and I can start by telling them a story about my toy, a joke about my toy. Something happened yesterday to me, which was funny. So I can start by this. This is a warm up.
My family.
Sorry?
A picture of my family.
Of my family. If I want to scare them.
Very much. They're already scared.
Okay. So the second step is the presentation. And as I told you, the presentation stages start with the hook. You build on previous knowledge. You present the model and language. You use realia, picture, you use whatever you can use to present your knowledge. So this is the stage of the teacher. اللي هي التيتشر هيقف فيها about 10 to 12 minutes max، يعني ما تطولوش في الوقفة قدام الولاد so that they won't get bored. So 10 to 12 minutes هي دي البرزنتيشن بتاعتك. So the presentation is going to take 10 to 12 minutes. Then we are going to go through the practice. And the practice, Mrs. Manel is going to talk about the practice part.
So for the practice stage, it should go slow because they need time to practice, to know, to understand. And for this stage, we have repetition. We say that if we are explaining the structures or vocabulary, they should be repeated many times for them in order to be understood and to be obtained correctly. It can be short activities because we need to have different activities. Do you think we should use differentiation, or we should have differentiational activities in our practice? Do you think we should have different activities, or just focusing on?
Alrighty, experienced teachers, everybody can share in the chat with us now. Variety of activities, do you think? I see
yes,
that.
We should have different activities. Why? Why should we do that? If I think that one activity is good for them and they understand well by doing that, why should I change or use different activities? Okay. I think our students are different. To measure the aim, thank you, Ms. Marwa. Thank you, everyone. Because students are different, so we should use different activities that would appeal to all of them. Variety is a spice of life. Thank you. This is a fact. We should not forget that we should model for our students to make sure they understand what I explained. Thank you, Mrs. Ra. So differentiation means that we include different activities that would appeal or that would address all learning styles, because some students learn more when they see the picture, other learn more or better when they hear a song or a story or something like that. Others like to move around the class, to do some activities, to go around, to help the teacher. So they learn differently. You know the different learning styles. We have the auditory people or pupils who like to speak, to have oral presentations. They like to have verbal issues or something like that. And others like to see, to draw or to demonstrate. And we have other types for students who like to move around, as we said before, building models that use their hands, or draw, do some work books. So this is kinesthetic or tactile. So we should address all of these. Ms. Salwa is sharing if the students understood if we change the activity so that they don't get bored, and to reach out the different learners. Thank you. Even if we think, as teachers, we think that this activity is nice for them, we should change in order not to get bored. Ms. Dalia saying to pick up them all task finishers, less achievers, visuals. Okay. As we said, we have different standard of students. We have fast finishers and we have slow learners. So we can make different activity to suit all of them. Okay. Then we can, to enrich their experience. Thank you, Ms. Azza. Yes. Then for the production stage, we should let them for 20 minutes at least, or 25 minutes, to produce real language. So I let them do role plays. They can practice pair work or practice group work, and to communicate with each other in order to get a production. The practice, and then the production, and the last step would be the wrap up. Yeah, for the wrap up, it's like summing up the activities, so students can review, reflect on what they have learned. It can be a quiz, or they can summarize something they have learned. It could be an exit ticket. So an exit ticket, just a simple question. When they answer the question, I can reflect on what they have learned or what they have understood. Or something like homework they can do at home, and the next time I can check their homework.
So these are the steps of the triple P lesson structure, which is the practice, the presentation, practice, production. And it is very similar to another model, which is called gradual release, which it consists of 3 stages. I do, we do, you do. I do, this is me, the teacher. I demonstrate in front of the teacher, in front of the students. Then the next stage, we do, I do with the students or with the good students to show the rest of the class how we do it, or I let the students do with guidance, and then I leave it to the students completely in the 3rd stage, which is you do. And this model we call gradual release model. Gradual release model. I do, we do, you do. I do is presentation, we do is practice, and you do is the production. Do you still have your paper? So we have come to the second stage, which include 4 steps: warm-up, presentation, practice, production. This is the second stage in the lesson plan. And the last stage, of course, will be the assessment and the wrap-up. During the whole lesson, you are all the time assessing your students. And by the end of the lesson, when you get to the wrap-up, you can give them a quiz, you can give them a question, an exit ticket, which is able to assess the students. And then you give the reflection for yourself on how how you did in your class. Let's wrap up our lesson today with these important characteristics of the lesson plan. Objectives, we talked about how to create the objective. Timing, it's very important to watch for the timing during the class. Sequencing, every step of the lesson, it has to go in sequence. They are not isolated activities. And differentiation, we have to take care of differentiation in a lesson plan. Assessment by the end of the lesson, and the material resources are designed and chosen according to the objectives of the lesson. So when we identify the objectives of the lesson, we can know or understand how to deal with the material, or what material do we need. So the session material are going to be on this link.